Well, it's like here to show you the Dora the Explorer and the Key Engineer. It's like so far with Dora the Explorer is like is for the Key Engineer. For our car engine. It could be a 6-cylinder or a 5-cylinder, whatever you call it, or a SHO or whatever type of engine that you may have in the car. But right here is I went ahead and drew a picture. It's like all these. Whenever you open the hood of your car, a lot of times like you see the headlights and along with the license plate. But then right here is like you could see the battery compartment along with the coolant, reservoirs and all that, the coolant, and then the brake fluid, the reservoir, or something like that, and then the belts. And right here is like I went ahead and drew is a timing belt kit that I went ahead and drew, and it's like, which I don't even know really what a timing belt kit what it looks like. It's like according to my mind, it's like that looks like a belt that a lot of times it'll be found right underneath the car. I guess it'll probably be maybe right underneath where the transmission alignment is, but like a belt where it rotates that in order to make the car move, it would rotate what you call counterclockwise to help with the purpose of the vehicle, the way it moves. Is it goes from the belts, and then from there, and then it'll be going to what you call like it goes to like power backup for the alternator and all that stuff to make the car run. But which so far as with the car parts is that you open the hood of the engine, and a lot of times it's like you see something like this, that you see all kinds of hoses and wires and belts and stuff like that, such as the engine, and then you see all these other wires, and it's like that you open the hood of the car, and then you may want to check maybe a few fluids or whatever. You may only have maybe a few tools maybe to do a few things, but it's like you go ahead and do for the alternator. Got the alternator, and then along with the belt, and then along with with the fuel pump. You got the fuel pump. It could be a fuel pump or a water pump, but which I guess like a fuel pump, I guess will be maybe a little smaller than like on this diagram, but like a power steering fluid pump or something like that. Maybe about a third, a little bit smaller than that size. Maybe about it's I guess I bet depending on on the engine, I guess on the car, it's at whatever the size of the pump is. But that could be what you call a fuel pump, or it could be a water pump. But right here is you got the tire is where whenever the car would rotate, that whenever the tire would rotate, that would make the car move. That's the whole purpose about working on cars, is that you would have like the transmission fluid. You got the transmission diagram right here, and then along with the transmission, it's like you got the park, neutral, drive, and reverse, and then first, second, and third shift, along with the overdrive, and you got the transmission, and then the diagram for the transmission of what I think that maybe kind of a good example of what it would look like if you were to kind of study the whole purpose about the car make, is that about car maintenance, is that that you look at the car, and then you're like you look at the manual or the manufacturer, and it's like you may not even want to mess with getting underneath there, taking the wrenches and the right tools, or whatever you call it, the right drill heads, or whatever you call it. Really, to get underneath that, where the belt is, to get underneath there, and maybe do the adjustments, maybe to adjust the headlights or whatever. But it's like you probably don't even want to mess with all that. Even if you had the tools, you probably didn't want to do all the maintenance by yourself. That maybe you would want to go to a mechanic or something like that. But so far as like for like Dora the Explorer, is that for the key engineer, is that is that it would be kind of like a hobby that you can come up with, that that whenever we do buy new toys, such as which you could, I guess you could say that a car would be kind of considered a toy, but whenever you buy stuff like a car, or it could be it could be a sewing machine or something like that, that really the whole purpose of buying a car, well, I guess, will be to travel. But I guess the whole part about the key engineer is that that your engine's gonna pretty much be in what you call a good running shape, or really for it to be able to run good. But so far as like for the engine, that you have the belt, and then along right here is the fuel gauge. But the fuel gauge is it's like with the cost of the gas prices and stuff, it's like they go up and down. But then you got the empty and then full, but and along with the gauge reader, and a lot of this stuff right here, it's like is something that you can maybe whenever you first buy a car, that's something that you can kind of study about how it works. Is that that the engine, if with the sensors and stuff like that, is how fast you're going, and then about how much fuel's in the tank. But one thing that's is like along with that for the key for engineering, it's like by the time you open the door to the driver's side and then pop open the hood, it's like you pretty much need a key to do a lot of that stuff. But the whole thing is that that if you would maybe do some of the study, I would maybe suggest that maybe put a tank gas or something like that in the car, and then maybe look at the engine, and then of course check the dipstick for the checking the oil and stuff like that. It's like you get the full and then the empty on the dipstick. But it's like you make sure you're adding like the proper oil and then the proper fluids, and have regular maintenance checks. But a lot of people, I'm sure, would probably not even want to bother with the brakes or the transmission. But a lot of times it's like that if you can't get underneath the car, and then it's like maybe to have like so like with Dora the Explorer and the key engineer, it's like so far with her, it's that with her that with most women and most men, it's like they have their own differences for whatever they do about this, so far as working on cars or whatever. But so far with Dora the Explorer, is that it's like you pretty much learn things every day, and that learning things every day could be applied to car maintenance, or it could be applying to stuff like maybe renewable resources or something like that. Maybe studying about the new technology that they would have nowadays. It's like GPS navigators or something like that, or maybe a Bluetooth, something like that. Maybe something that maybe we would all like to have, like Dora the Explorer, a Bluetooth that not that don't fit on your ear, but then you can mount it inside your ear. But maybe about about maybe a little smaller than a penny, that will be able to fit in your ear or something like that. But neat inventions. It's like so far with neat inventions that if you could, it's like arrange it to where you may not be able to invent a car engine yourself, but it's possible that you may be able to create some type of diagram to helping you for making the car run good. So it's like with the right maintenance checkups and stuff like that. And it's like so far with the key, it's that the key for the study. It's like it's the best suggestion is that you have to come up with your own ideas for like a diagram to keep up with the car maintenance. But so far as a study of the car is like along with the the engine and Dora the Explorer and key engineer.